Thank you very much, Administrator Contreras-Sweet. We thank you for your incredible leadership on behalf of small business in our country. President Obama chose well, and we thank you so much for everything that you are over that side now. Okay, either side is good. But you're with another champion, Senator Cantwell, in her leadership on the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee. We do have a person who understands that we can't be passive in helping small business, that small business is where innovation and job growth will take place in this country, and that we need to pay attention. And it's good to be here with Senator Kaine, who's one of the great leaders on our manufacturing issue. I've been doing a Made in Maryland tour where I visit companies in my state. We make incredible products, and Maryland companies can compete with any company in the world if we have a level playing field. American manufacturing can compete on a level playing field with any country in the world. But we cannot give up tools that are available when other countries don't. As the administrator said, this unilateral disarmament costs us jobs and costs our economy. And we've done that too many times in the past. And we need to make sure that this tool, the XM Bank, the Export-Import Bank, which provides a way in which we can compete on a level playing field, needs to be reauthorized. I want to make one other point on this. As I've gone around talking to businesses in Maryland, they tell me they need to know the rules of the game. And when we do these short-term reauthorizations, they can't plan. They're talking about getting investors to invest in manufacturing in this country, to invest in their businesses. How can you do that if you don't know what the rules are? So I would urge Congress to take up this year a long-term reauthorization of the XM Bank. It is desperately needed for our economy, for jobs, and for America being able to participate in the global market, and that's critically important. So, okay, I could tell you about a lot of different companies. We have a lot of small businesses in Maryland that benefit from the XM Bank. But I have Bobby Patton here who can tell you and put a face on the issue on one company, Patton Electronics, which is located in the state of Maryland. This is a company that Bobby and his family started, that we've seen tremendous job growth, that participate in global economy, and can tell you how important these tools are so that we do have a level playing field and that we can keep jobs here and expand jobs in the United States. Bobby Patton from Patton Electronics in the state of Maryland.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to just tell a little bit of background about my company. I'm one of 10 kids. My parents raised all of us in Rockville, Maryland. Bill, Bonnie, Bruce, Ben, Barry, Bobby, Bert, Beverly, Buffy, Barbie, Barbara, and Bob. And when all those 10 kids were going through college, it was quite an expensive endeavor. When I was about a sophomore in college at Montgomery College, my father had a heart attack and a stroke and looked like he was going to pass away. And so while he was in his hospital room, I was sitting with him and talking to him about, hey, how do I start a business? He was a serial entrepreneur. He had started businesses over and over and over again. And so he started showing me the ropes and teaching me what to do. And I started following his instructions, and we started this little company selling communications equipment that we were, at the time, mostly importing, repackaging, and selling here in the United States. But we were in the high-tech business, and our customers started to ask us to make it smaller, faster, cheaper. And our suppliers couldn't make it smaller, faster, cheaper. But I was studying engineering, and so I worked with a group of engineers that I knew to make it smaller, faster, and cheaper on our own. And we started selling them, and we started growing. And I needed more capital. I asked my dad, hey, that $5,000 that you gave me isn't going to be enough for the inventory that I need. I need a little bit more cash in order to capitalize this inventory. Eventually, we capped out of my dad's cash and couldn't go anymore, and so we had to start looking for working capital in other places, and the business is growing. And being on the internet, we were very early in the international business. We were very early getting demand from places all over the world that we'd never heard of, saying, hey, can you sell us your product? And the transactions were small and the risk was low, so we sold our products. Sometimes we asked for a credit card, sometimes we asked them to pay in advance. But as the deals got bigger and they got more competitive, we needed to offer terms that they would pay after the equipment was installed. And so we had to capitalize that inventory and that transaction for a period of 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes longer. And we did it on our own risk, without much difficulty. But then that got to be a growing piece of our business. And our bank started coming to us and say, hey, you're starting to have a significant portion of your business that's outside the US. How are you going to collect that if it goes bad? We don't know if we want to underwrite that. We can't give you a line of credit based on those receivables. So I'm like, what's the solution? Looking around. No real good solutions. I went to private credit insurance. It was just too darn expensive. Our transactions were small compared to the kinds of things that the credit insurance companies like to do. And the kinds of conditions and terms that they put on it were onerous for us to be able to comply with them. Well, we ran across a bank that introduced us to the Ex-Im Bank working capital line of credit, and they came in and we signed up on that arrangement and grew and grew and grew, and now 70% of our business is coming from outside the United States. We have about 100 employees in Gaithersburg, about 50 others around the world acting as technical support and salespeople in the local economies where we're selling the products, so we can reach out and touch them. This is a really critical piece of our business. We would not be able to sustain the kind of business that we're doing now without a product like the Ex-Im has. And trust me, I keep looking at private options. I'm a Republican. I keep looking at private options. And you know what? They're not there. The Ex-Im is the only option that I have. And so I'm fully behind this thing. It's something that is essential for the growth and continuity of my business. And like was said, if we only plan for a couple of months from now to renew it for a few months at a time, that's not going to work for me. My customers want 90 days payment terms. I can't make a deal now that isn't going to be insured in 90 days. Won't work. We need to have a longer-term strategy. We got to get behind Ex-Im.